Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. It's a Sunday night and we are here to round off week 6 with a high tier battle between Proteus and OP. Two teams at the top of the current NA ladder. If we look at OP, a brand new team coming in to the league in season 14, but not brand new players. A lot of experience playing at a high level. Players coming in from Rome, Blaze, all over the place, ultimately creating what has been a powerhouse of a team so far this season. They've beaten squads like Siren Snails and Resurgence pretty confidently, and they're now going up against Proteus, maybe if not their hardest challenge yet so far this season. Proteus definitely a team with experience on that roster. Formed in season 13, but their captain, Peas Gaming, been around a bit longer than that, playing since season 11 in the VRML, and so definitely a lot of experience on this side of things as well. Make It Great started in season 12. Hounds started season 12 on Legionnaires, and so you have players that started a couple of seasons ago but played for good teams, and they have been ultimately culminated into Proteus. So two very good teams that should be battling it out here this afternoon. Now will be battling it out here this afternoon. We can take a look at the pick bans for the day. Coming in from Proteus, we have the Quarantine and Suburbia ban, and coming in from OP, we have the Bazaar Subway ban. For those not in the know, each team gets 2 bans in a predetermined map pool at the start of the season. That map pool obviously gets a little bit smaller when 4 maps are banned away from it. The bans can give an indicator of what we should be expecting in terms of gameplay throughout the rest of this series, what we can expect in terms of maps throughout the rest of this series. And if we look at Proteus, they've banned Quarantine and Suburbia, and so it's a bit of a mixed bag there. I think if anything, we'd want to dive into the stats of OP and see where they've been performing, because it may very well be a ban of strength for banning away OP's maps that they're good on or have been playing well on so far this season. OP banning Bazaar and Subway. It leaves a lot of long-range maps on the table, like Downfall, which is where we're headed for map 1, but also Snow Peak, Abandoned. There's just a good handful that are in the mix here for this series, and so it could be in store for a bit of a longer ranged battle this afternoon. And I think that may be the intention of Proteus, is to really force the coordination out of OP, because that's where it really is required in these long range maps. That's where you see the need for good coordination, and where you see the benefit of playing together as a team kind of pays off. So be interesting to see if it's enough for Proteus. We'll go ahead and give the ready to the players, and we should be getting into round 1 soon enough. A shout out to everyone tuning in here. This was certainly a highly voted for map on the website. If you do want to see a match get casted, you can vote for that match on the website as long as you are logged in. And so maybe one of the best ways to get the attention of the casting team for big games that you want to see casted. This one certainly did have a lot of hype, and so happy to see a bunch of folks tuning in and enjoying round number 1 as we dive into Proteus versus OP.
Yeah, don't be too aggressive. Watch that south spawn. H2.
Proteus on the attack on their map pick. OP picking the Volk side. Something I don't often talk about is that the away team can pick the side. They don't have to start Volk, just typically the common choice. I think yesterday that was not the case. They picked Marsoc, but regardless, this is Proteus's map pick for map 1, and they're going to have to start attacking the objective. Definitely a tall order on a map like Downfall, and like I said, requires coordination. If you look at the overhead here, we can see so far OP very nicely split. I mean, that is mwah. Look at that spread, perfect, as they all take up different angles. the 2-3 setup there. Very nicely executed as they work their way forward. Very cautious as the defense can extend for an aggressive setup and push up the front ramp here that Rambo is sitting at. On the other side of things, OP have been very slow and been very tucked in on their defense. They are not, like we said, pushing up to any of the extended positions that you can push into. No Black Hawk defense, no sandbags. They're not pushing up to the wall or middle building. They're staying very tucked in. Irvadi not even risking peeking out and instead staying inside the stairwell. Their job is to watch the south cross. And so all Irvadi is looking at is this slice of life. They're watching to see if anyone crosses through the deep valley and if anyone crosses the short gap there to get across to dumpster buildings. So very late angles to the point being held here. Laureen could find something over on that north side, but again, it is a slow rollout so far. Only once we see a push down from White House to the red truck, down into the second building here, that's when we're going to see this line become active. But for now, it is a very slow push, and it seems to me that Proteus are wary of this potential threat. They don't want to push out to that red truck there and get picked off by Laureen. I do kind of wonder if they're going to end up shifting most of their focus right up through the middle. If we're going to see Make It Great and Peas kind of connecting with Rambo and Pounds to some degree and make their way right up through the center, because that very well could be the entry point into objective. But for now, it's a bit of a fight as Peas tries to find some sniper shots. And I think they're suppressing... What was that shooter over there on the wall? I think that's
Chopper,
Oasis. Yeah. Oasis, interestingly, did just see Pounds push down to that chopper.
I have no idea. I just seen one push straight there, down there, from the middle.
He's suppressing, preventing the push out. Oasis has to challenge Peas to allow Vadi to get an angle down in through the center, because now Vadi is trapped up on this top floor. These shots coming out. Vadi wants to peek. Rambo finds CJ on the wall. Oh, that's a back angle that they caught CJ at. Oasis is still alive on the wall, and Vadi is again trapped here. Suplex has eyes on Overwatch. Vadi peeking up is risky. Suplex trying to get the angle, trying to line it up. Doesn't take the shots. There it comes in, but it's a little late. Pounds does make it up to the Black Hawk, and Black Hawk is officially controlled here by Proteus. Smokes coming into the objective space. And Rambo finds a long-range shot onto Laureen. It's gonna come down to Irvadi, holding down a key position up here on the roof. Where are the shots from Suplex? Suplex is off angle now, and Rambo does find the headshot. Vadi gets cleaned up, and Rambo, with some big 1-2s there, puts Proteus up 1-0. Very nice coordinated push from OP, timing up their entries, have the Overwatch. Again, a lot happening there. You know, if you don't see the plays getting orchestrated, it looks like chaos, but Vadi pushes up to out of their late angle position because Proteus has essentially exploited their setup. The way they were looking was they were holding edges, right? They had coverage down into the south, and they had coverage over into the north with a little bit of a cross hatching up through the middle, but not a lot of coverage up through the middle. The real key for that Proteus defense was for Vadi to push out up the stairs to the roof. Once that happened, however, they were suppressed, and their options of defending this middle push go out the window. From there, once they have Blackhawk control, nobody can get angles, and it's incredibly hard to identify your opponent up against that Blackhawk. Although they are actually tan, so it's actually the opposite. It should be pretty easy. But regardless, they have some cover, and they manage to push their way up to a near cap. Maybe forcing some rotations, catching the kills on the rotations. And now they go on the defense. We'll see what OP can put together, but that is the perfect start outside of a cap for Proteus.
Peace, fella, don't know what he's doing.
Hey, watch that twin area. They get there.
Yeah. I might die. If I make it, I'm lucky. Oh, yeah, I'm lucky.
That's the game of Onward. Constant concern and unknowing, and, you know, perfectly safe on that rotation, but they don't know the spawn of OP. Pounds is tucked in. One of the forward positions that Proteus was concerned about being taken. But admittedly, OP, very south-focused. Oftentimes, and I say this a lot, but I haven't, I think, this season, defenses defend against the offense that they use. So this defense would work well against the offense we just saw from Proteus. The defense we just saw from OP would work well against this rotation from OP's offense, because they were set up for the edges. They were watching for the south and north, and if the call out came that there was a south rotation, I think the angles they could have held would have been a lot easier. It would have worked for them much better, because it was pushed up through the center. I mean, it's crazy. OP has almost no eyes on the south. Where is their coverage? I think it's coming from Rambo. Actually, it should be coming from Rambo, but Rambo's holding an even later angle. So Rambo's not going to even watch the cross. They're giving up 3-story pretty easily. There's a little peek out from Rambo, and they do find at least one popping up onto that south hill.
Yep, not repeaking that, over.
Oh, we just hear the comms there. Rambo not going to want to re-peek that angle. Again, they really are kind of giving up that south. Pease is here to take some shots too, but yeah, this is going to be a free cross here. No one's going to have coverage. Unless Pounds, I don't think has a line. Let's go check. No, Pounds can't see over those sandbags. They're not going to see the cross. They can deny a middle push a little bit. But I think what we're going to see from Pounds is a rotation. They're going to extend up and then have eyes down here if OP is a little too slow. 3 minutes left for them. They've been poking and prodding. Call out from Oasis that they got to move comes in. And there's a smoke utilized on the cross. Another one coming in. Wonder if that's going to deny any vision. No, but it's up to the roof. Could see a battle here with Canadian trying to take some shots out. Getting shot at by Peas. Now Pounds can maybe find some action here through the window or on the push. But OP are battling it out. This is Onward here. Firefight, suppressive fire. Smokes to deny vision, and OP trying to extend up. Peas being suppressed and forced in. Doing their best to take shots and push this OP team up through the middle. It may push them into Pounds, but Pounds can't see past this defilade. They haven't rotated up to the position they need to be in to be a threat. And CJ and Irvadi take control of 3-story. Suplex is here. They're going to find one. Irvadi gets shot by Pounds. Pounds does make the rotation up to that building. Catches the headshot just in time. Excuse me, not a headshot. His body is down and can call this information out, so Oasis should know that Pounds is here. Suplex is pushing up to confirm that kill. Peas finds 2 on the backside as we're on board Oasis. 1 of 2 left for OP. Suplex on the top floor here, and they are going to be getting challenged. Oasis is here. The flash gets thrown. Oasis buys the time just enough. Pounds finds the kill. Confirm coming in, and Laureen, the last one to try and push in on Proteus. A good solid hold and a patient defense has made this tough for OP as Proteus with 4 left alive around objective. Take it up 2-0. Not terribly surprising on the initial score line here, but I think a lot of people expecting OP to kind of run away with some wins this afternoon. Maybe that won't be the case. Obviously isn't, as Proteus take that 2-0 lead. For a second, I worried I had the names wrong again, because I did that for a whole round yesterday. But we're all good. Quick shout out to everyone again, tuning in, hanging out, enjoying the action so far. See a lot of folks chatting up. I really do appreciate everyone stopping by, hanging out, and enjoying the action. Sri Lankan, Sentinel, GT, Willem, Carter, Ring Monster, Phenom, Mike Rex. Appreciate all of you stopping in, hanging out, enjoying the action. I don't know if we did predictions. I could get those out. We have 4 minutes left. Get them in. Predictions are out. Maybe a round late, 2 rounds late. It's okay. New objective could mean everything. Although the objective... Did it even change? I think maybe I wasn't paying attention. It must have been behind this building. Check if we're going into a timeout. Yes, it looks like it. We are going into a timeout too. So OP putting a pause on things. This momentum from Proteus a little too aggressive out the gate for OP's liking. And so I think we are very much going into a tactical timeout right now. I don't believe this to be technical, although it could be, as I did have 1 drop. I'll get confirmation on what kind of timeout it is, but once we find out, we may go to a brief break if it's a 15-minute timeout. Might not be though, as I do see CJ back in lobby, and so we're gonna give it some time. Might just be a technical timeout, and we'll be jumping into the action here again soon. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they took a tactical timeout. Granted, OP does lean into quick pace and good coordination, but yeah, it seems CJ's back. It looks like we might be starting soon, so I don't think it's a technical. And to the point I was making, I don't think that that would necessarily serve OP, as they do want to kind of get warmed up, get the engines running, so to speak. And so if anything, a timeout may hurt them, and this brief break may make it even more beneficial for Proteus. It's all a matter of how teams ride the lightning, so to speak, how they carry momentum through rounds, and even how they play under pressure. Some players do better once they're down at 0-3. It's crazy. We've seen teams consistently come back, especially when it comes into tournament time. So a test of a team, and it looks like I've rambled on enough for us to get back into the action again. Thank you so much for hanging out. I think you're pretty great. At least while you're watching.
Oh my goodness, I can see my hand.
Back to it we go. Round 3. Proteus up to a confident lead here, and we'll see if OP can figure something out.
He's up there. He's up there. He's up there. He's up there.
Should be a similar round. What I do like to see is a very different offense here coming in from Proteus. Bump 203 was directed towards Vadi, but doesn't get Vadi up on the roof.
Coming with.
He's going to rotate back, and Proteus stacking the ravine heavily. Didn't work well for OP, but maybe it'll be executed a bit differently here as Vadi scoops up one early. Rambo not able to catch them on the roof, and Vadi shuts down. That was an Overwatch position. Rez is coming in from Peas.
Thank you, handsome.
And Suplex gets picked up.
Oh, you took my syringe.
Still a 5-5 as Peas almost downs themselves from fall damage. I think he blamed me. It's not my fault. I don't command the gravity, okay? Oh, that's a risky push out, though, and playing into the knowledge of how OP defended last round. Oh, that's a good toss. Almost goes high enough. Peas can't quite get the distance on it. Another smoke that's directed at the gap in the stairs, and a double setup here down in the south. OP
Upper red.
definitely have eyes on Vadi on the rooftop position. CJ on this bottom floor. They have another one on the second floor of this building. Canadian who can peek out, and
The person I killed is only down. I'm gonna be so mad at this game.
CJ now being suppressed. Pounds putting rounds towards where they think their teammate was shot. Rambo trying to suppress Vadi, and for now, OP have a nice lockdown on this offense from Proteus. No free cross between Make It Great and Pounds. And Vadi, a threat that they are spending a lot of utility on trying to get rid of. That's a nice pickup there from Pounds. Make It Great tried to nade Vadi, but couldn't. And Loreen is going to be next up on the OP hit list, I think. Yeah, Make It Great definitely taking shots towards Loreen. Pounds crossing over. And you can see Loreen is cautious of holding out of an angle for too long. Still, though, a important position that Proteus are going to have to free up if they want to push. There's a couple that are real thorns in Proteus' side. Loreen, Vadi. They got the one in the basement, so Canadian Jesus could still be a threat, but they're also watching north. There goes Canadian up on that second floor, and so what a smoke. That gets thrown right onto Vadi. Rambo trying to find a little headshot there, but can't. Looking for the top of a helmet. Either way, a good smoke. That really does free up the cross. Make It Great can make it relatively confidently, especially if they know that they've killed two in the window. That smoke denies Vadi the ability to hold the cross, and so Rambo and everyone here on Proteus will be able to get over to their next launching point, so to speak. Body still battling, finds pounds, make it great, can't pop out in time. Big kill there, evening the odds 3-3, but now everything's getting pushed pretty heavily. Body calls out 1, it's 3. Body calls out I'm flashed, a little misdirection.
Still up here. On me.
How you doing?
And Rambo able to at least call out that Body's on the roof.
Kill another on top.
But it
Check
did
top right
cost their life. Suplex is now operating on a very interesting bit of knowledge that they are the last.
Got him, center.
There was only one in that building. They used the comms from Vadi to their advantage. They stayed silent and ultimately completely surprised Vadi on the second floor. Now, ooh, a push comes into objective, daring to say the least. 2 smokes. And it's Oasis and Laureen. Yes, indeed. And Laureen is holding a big point here on the backside. As we have a battle over objective space. It's now all up to Laureen to hold down the cross to objective. If Make It Great makes it past. Right there, Laureen doesn't connect with the shots. And now Make It Great's in the smoke, but they do find the kill. Suplex is alone with 5 seconds left, and Laureen is tucked into a deep corner. Suplex can't find the angle, and OP is going to win on time. Proteus clearly not very fazed by that fact. Do see some new faces as well. If you are new here, hit that follow button. We just recently bumped over 4,500 folks in chat. 4,500 followers. We're at 4,505 now. Do it, round number 4. We'll see what OP can do to right this ship that was so wronged.
Yeah, poor.
Did you shoot that guy during smoke or did you miss?
Smoke. The smoke like dissipated a little bit, you know how it does that, and then I saw him. I missed in the smoke.
Who's with me, Lord?
Yeah.
3,291. I can tell by your footsteps.
Are my footsteps? Aren't they all the same?
No, I'm joking. I just remembered.
See what this push nets for OP, but it's interesting to see a very different approach. Proteus, not necessarily prioritizing south coverage, but they do have Ps here. Suppressive fire coming in from Canadian, and I don't know if that's because they see a slice of Ps, or it's just to really force Ps to get their head down and not able to peek Laureen and Vadi rotating in from the south. These shots have purpose. The suppressive fire has purpose. Take a look at the overhead. Give us a better perspective of what's what. Interesting to see a 2-1-2 split, whereas last round it was heavily stacked south. Love it, man. I love to see at the high level these teams have dedicated strats for each objective, but different strats for each objective as well. You really could play this objective exactly the same as we did the last 2 rounds, but we're seeing completely different defenses and offenses coming in here. Granted, you know, spawn points can affect its. I think one of those objectives has 2 spawn points for Volk, which the first round has 2 spawn points for Volk.
-1 Lord Dumpster.
I don't know any other objective that does that, but I digress. A kill for Peas. Proteus kicking off nicely. Oops, that's on me, not your Discord.
Oh yeah, they're still shooting at me.
And yeah, as Peas found that first kill, now the suppressive fire returns. Oasis and Canadian taking shots. Interestingly enough, the rest of OP have backed off, pushing from hillside. And the shift comes in onto this cross. One that is relatively uncovered. It was uncovered last round in defense as well. Bob's getting a little stuck on the basket there. Oh, what an interesting angle getting held out the doorway. Don't want to commit into the entry. Be very cautious about where they look. Peas could snap into an angle here, but oh, they just can't quite see the edge there of Peas. Peas is holding a very tight angle. That's suppressive fire again, trying to push Peas. And I mean, you can see it from art. It's a slice if we don't have the overlay. You can barely see a little sliver of a head. If CJ were to be able to identify that in VR, that would be impressive. If they don't, though, it's going to be bad news. As Peas pops out, scoops up CJ with a great peek. Vadi's still down here. Pounds finds Oasis, and a nade is coming in. Out the window. A little too long, didn't quite get over the wall. We gotta pop over to Pounds, who is defending off the north entry, as it is really just up to Canadian and their teammate Vadi being heavily suppressed by...
Upper red rotated out of dark room.
Oh, everyone's being suppressed on OP right now. Suplex has eyes on Canadian. Pounds is up front. Suplex could swing out here to take shots down onto Vadi, and they do, almost connecting. Vadi's forced back off of those. Peas nearly finds an open angle off the rotation, and Canadian is on a long rotate back that might get caught out by Suplex here. Shots come through and connect. Now it's up to Vadi alone in a 1v5, and Peas cuts that off. Proteus take a commanding defensive round.
They can't push us, baby!
And Peas getting psyched up off of the win. That's how I used to play. Very excited off of the W there, up 3-1. I'm seeing in chat that the dance we saw on stream, called the supple or the suplex, whatever we want to go with there, but I think it has a coin name. Anyway, clearly the lightheartedness after the loss pays off, because that was a very solid win. 3-1, and we get a objectives swap down to the dumpster building. All objectives in the south. There are, oh, excuse me, all objectives on the west. Never eat soggy waffles. I have to do that every time. There is, I think, only one objective on the east. But a little bit more southerly here, and I expect to see a little bit more north to south fighting, which does open up a lot of different longer range angles, in my opinion. Some good early connections could come through from an aggressive team, and so Proteus, with a 3-1 lead, likely to step up looking for picks, set themselves up. Let's see how that unfolds as we get into round 5. Proteus with a 3-1 lead on their map pick. OP undefeated so far this season. Let's confirm it. I think that's true. Yeah. OP undefeated so far this season, and so Proteus at least looking to set themselves up to deliver a defeat to OP, but obviously it's a best of 3 maps, and so even if they take this map, we still got another one at the very least, and it's OP's map pick. But the action is here, and we are into it.
Yeah, I think it's there.
Ooh, Vadi here getting aggressive out the grade on OP. That's not what Proteus expected. They weren't ready for OP to be pushing up here, and a flash comes in from Vadi. They want to extend their aggressive play here, and I think 2 kills should be enough for them to tuck in. Either way, Proteus is trapped in these buildings. Suppressive fire coming in. Peas looking for anything, but no one in 2-story. Everyone essentially blocked from their line of vision now.
Was it a possible trade in Valley?
But a tough start for Proteus here, and a big move from Vadi to get OP that double. Vadi's still going to be an important piece of this defense, and it is an easily killable position because you just have to dump a nade. You could potentially get that nade into this little divot here, air burst the nade, anything really. Flash over the top. But for now, Vadi is still here. Peas. Maybe getting the false sense of confidence that no one's here. May have passed that on to the team. Make It Great. Now Vadi is moving, and Make It Great does hear those footsteps. Vadi is going to challenge. Make It Great goes down. They're going to swing up to Peas, who wins that fight.
-1.
But it's a 3-for-1. And Proteus are down to just Rambo and Peas to try and make their way into this objective here.
Blinding, flash, please. Yeah, here. Watch White House. We gotta cross.
Oh, Rambo tries to get into the White House. No dice. DJ shuts it down. Peas looking for Canadian, and then a push in. It's not impossible, actually. There's a kind of a big risk. Oh, and Peas just doesn't know it. If Peas fights Canadian and wins, I guess they have Oasis out the 2 stories, so then they have to win that. But it's really a 1v2 if they push out from the ravine. This, they're essentially challenging everyone. And Oasis finds the kill. OP take the round. A solid defensive hold. Puts us 3-2 overall on the scoreline. And let's take a gander at the KDs as I get some hydration. Certainly a solid start for Proteus, but I didn't think it would be that easy of a win. And it certainly has not been. If anything, there's the real risk of OP still winning. Proteus have to be careful about getting complacent with their early was it 3-0? No, 2-1 lead. And they're not careful. I think OP can take this map. Goes into OP's map choice from there, and Well, with Quarantine Suburbia, Bazaar, and Subway off the table, there are some interesting maps available to be played. Arctic, for example. Tanker on the table. Shipyard. Not played very often. I think still on the table. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that map got cut out recently, because I haven't seen anyone playing Shipyard in a long while, let alone ban it. So maybe I don't know, is it still in the, you tell me, chat. We're going into the action round number 6. OP fighting for their life on their first map.
Yeah, and annex upper dumpster.
B's walking into the already covered windows.
Looks like they got same spawn.
Shots coming out already.
On the left side.
He tries to pop
One
up to
pushing
catch
me.
CJ. Nade coming out and it catches CJ on the backside. He's can't afford to peek it though. And Oasis has to spend utility to try and get up here for the res. 2 smokes getting spent to deny P's vision here. Is that going to be enough? Because there is still Suplex with an eye on.
Past the piece. Mid, you're up. Watch that back.
Proteus not letting OP work their way through easily here. Body now being suppressed.
Center, 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 center. He's top 4. He went down to second. No.
Pretty high level play. Body baiting out a fake firefight. Trying to force P's to peek out of curiosity. Doesn't find anything though. Res on CJ is ticking. Probably only about 30 seconds left for them to get scooped up by a teammate. It doesn't look like they're going to prioritize getting them. Not worth risking the players, but it seems to be the decision. We'll see if Canadian does try to make their way down, but both Vadi and Loreen have rotated all the way north. They'll be crashing from the west side. And they'll at least get up to Suplex. Suplex will call out. That the push is there, and then make it great. We'll rotate to watch Suplex. Could open up an opportunity. Canadian can get rid of P's. Then Canadian can rotate in from the south, and there's a lot of possibility for OP to pinch in on Proteus here. It just needs to start with a couple of key picks. Recognize that the rest of the team rotated north. It's too late now with a minute 47 for this rotation to come in. Suplex shuts down Vadi, and now Lorraine is pushing in maybe a little bit too late because Make It Great could pop up, have coverage of this rotation after the call out has come. That one was pushing center. Rambo has eyes on the cross, and if they didn't, Lorraine could have made their way up to objective right in the middle of this defense, but with them down and Canadian maybe recognizing the constraint on time with a minute 15 on the clock, Proteus is looking very good. 1v5. And make it a 0v5. Proteus lock in. Map number 1. 4-2. Took a little time, took some effort. But it does happen in pretty commanding fashion. Both teams showcasing the ability to play solid defense here. But I do wonder where we go from this. What is map number 2? Where does it take us? It's going to be OP's choice. There's maps like Cargo on the table. That certainly would be interesting. Cater to the OP faster play style, closer quarters. Not necessarily confident that Proteus would be bad on Cargo though, so I think that may be an equal challenge for OP if they do pick into that. We will have to see here though, as we do quick lobby swap and I sort out some technical elements. Stare at my wonderful blonde hair and go ahead and wait to enter in the prediction results so I don't ruin it for everybody. Too fast for you two's calling out Turbine Knight. I see a request for Shipyard or Arctic. Arctic would certainly be interesting. They do play that map well. But, little technical hiccup there. It does look like we're going to Cargo, though, for map number 2. Interesting choice. Again, one that does technically cater to the closer quarters of the OP team, though. We'll go ahead and let the teams know that they can get going whenever they're ready, though. But yeah, Cargo confirmed for. Sorry for keeping that. Cargo confirmed for map 2. Does look like we have standard sides here, out of the ordinary. So OP will be on the attack and Proteus on the defense. Again, I don't know that this is going to be a sure shot for OP, you know, as much as they may think it is. As confident as they are on Cargo, Proteus, I don't think are going to be playing this very poorly. And so, yeah, definitely going to be, at the very least, a pretty exciting Cargo battle. I ain't upset that we're on Cargo, and Arctic still could be in the cards. It's still there. Arctic Shipyard are still on the table. If Proteus go there, I think that would maybe be more of a surprise, but I guess I see something. I don't know. Where do we see our map 3 going? That's a whole other question. What am I seeing here? Ah, some new folks in chat asking about what this game is. And I guess it is on sale. I didn't even know that right now, but Onward's on sale, so pick it up for I think 15 bucks. That's a great deal. Back into the action we go, though, for map number 2 in the best of 3 series. Proteus with a secure lead 4-2. OP looking to bounce back on their map choice with a map W themselves. Cargo, a close quarters map where we can expect a lot of utility. A lot of grenades, flashing smokes coming in. Pounds goes down to a nade on the backside. Are they going to invest in rezzing Pounds? I don't think so. His body flies forward. Catches make it great. Scoops up a quick double. Pounds goes down on objective. That could be the indicator for the push, but Peas is able to get across Irvadi's line of sight. They're able to tuck into smokes and redirect them, forcing the pressure off. Vadi sees the redirection and acts accordingly. OP flying in to the objective space, but now the big cross as Rambo can't find Vadi on it. Canadian Oasis suppressing, and Vadi is barreling towards the objective. Rambo takes a priority position around the objective and fends off two. Canadian Jesus, CJ all here. Rambo finds a triple and CJ shuts it down. OP with 2 left alive in the chaos on objective do take a round win. Good start for them. Good start on their OBJ, just like Proteus did on Downfall. Do want to make sure that I get predictions out, because this is going to be fast. Looks like a heavy favoring on the Proteus side of things for the last map. We'll see if that is the same. Whoa. Oops. Sorry, everybody. I hit the intermission screen. I didn't mean to, but you didn't miss anything. Just me rambling on about predictions. Oh, boy. I'm sure no one left in the middle of an intense game. But, again, we didn't miss much. We didn't miss anything. I got in right back at the start of the round, and OP have taken up defense. Very different approach from Proteus on the attack. They're not investing everything in a thumbstick forward style of push. It is a coordinated effort, likely a timed one. As Peas deploys a smoke that goes just a touch too far. He wanted that a little shorter to be in front of the box, blinding Oasis here.
Can you still see left side or no?
He's going to round the corner and find a face full of gun. Canadian shutting down Proteus, shutting down one, trying to make their way up through the middle.
Yeah, there's one. There's two. Two tunnel side.
Rambo suppressing, and Peas trying to get information. Rambo flies out and does find Canadian. Canadian sitting there for too long, the same position. Body picks it up. CJ goes down quick. Body hasn't popped up yet, but Rambo's pushing in. Peas shuts down another. Vadi finally denies Rambo entry from this side, but it's not quick enough because the rest of this offense is pushing in. Peas is behind and finds Vadi on the back end. Loreen trying to rotate around, quickly snaps for the kill. Pounds able to cross in front of Loreen's line of sight, and now Loreen has to worry about objective. Oh, and Pounds peaks right as Loreen rotates off the angle. Classic Onward timing. 350 on the clock. Not going to be an issue on time. Loreen's going to have to win this firefight. And Pounds suddenly turns on the slow-mo mode here. Patiently waiting to make their entry in. Trying to read Laureen's footsteps and takes a quick little pot shot out. Has a lot of time to try and outsmart this defense. And Laureen really just has to constantly be processing everything in their head. Hey, and I know I'm 6 minutes late, but shout out to Egg Tendies for dropping the 2 gifted subs. A shout out to Pounds for finding the headshot. Proteus, take a round, and tie this up 1 apiece. But again, thank you, Tendies, for that sub, for the gifted subs. That support ends up coming back to us on the caster desk and the moderation team, so we really do appreciate that support. A big shout out to you folk. We really do. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it you being here watching drives me to keep doing cast, but the support is very nice, and it's a good incentive to at least know that people enjoy the content enough to be throwing some dollars at it from time to time. And if you can't, that's fine. Just being in here is good enough for any one of us on the casting desk. And if you follow, we'll really appreciate it, because then we know we're going to see more of you, and it's worth making a friend. Back to it we go for round number 3. OP and Proteus battling it out, and I'm just rambling buying time between rounds. Because the action happens so quick, it almost feels like between round time is a little bit longer. Although those last 2 rounds, well, they were pretty fast. Here's another fast one. Smoke, utility, Rambo being blinded, Peas pushing up. Suplex getting team killed, and CJ punching in the code. Bees can't suppress. OP take it 3-1 with a big cap under Proteus's nose. A beautiful orchestrated play. The M203 smoke playing a vital role in their ability to push there, because you could see Peas prioritize pushing into the smoke to grab it and redirect it so that you don't have the option to cap under the smoke. You can't redirect an M203 smoke. And so ultimately, as that was well placed on objective, the cap comes in and no nades. You can't see for the objective, and there wasn't any blind fire into that smoke. And so a free cap, well, I would say free, a well orchestrated cap push for OP that nets them 2 points. And I put the score on the wrong team. 3-1 lead for OP. They're looking to push this to a map 3 decider. I doubt Proteus make it that easy, but they can't afford to lose this round, or it's 4-1 into the map. And OP would technically have the round lead going into map 3. Seeing some interesting feed. Some interesting comments in the chat that cargo should be OP's map, and we are seeing a heavy favoring towards OP for this round. So clearly, you folk at home know your teams and who to be putting, where to be putting your faith, because OP are again looking very good with this 3-1 lead. We'll see if they can lock it in, or if Proteus will battle back. They certainly do have a tall order ahead of them, and I'm sure they were surprised to have that cap sneak under their noses. So will they be able to refocus is the big question. Suplex tossing smokes onto objective. CJ trying to play a counter-aggression game, and they come in to find Suplex and scoop them up through the doorway. A big kill, because if CJ doesn't catch that and they go down, these on-objective smokes are beautiful. Easily they're able to move in and cap, just like we saw OP do. And honestly, we're not seeing a lot of line fire into the objective space. Finally, CJ goes down. Maybe now Proteus can push. They have a real opportunity to cap, though, with these smokes. Flashes are coming in, and now smoke dissipates, so not going to be an easy task anymore. A lot of suppressive fire coming out, and we'll have to see how Proteus want to try and work through this defense. The smokes are just all gone.
-1 center.
Yeah. Canadian catches one, bounds out in the open. Almost rotates over to make it great. Blind fire catches
-1.
Rambo. On just guesswork, his body swings the corner, finds making great. OP are choking Proteus out as Peas is alone in a 1v dead. OP runaway with cargo. I almost said sweep, but they didn't sweep as Proteus did bounce back into a 1-1, but a quick cargo secured. And map 3 is where we decide this series. It's going to come down to Proteus and their map pick. And there are options that get them distance from this OP team. Granted, I don't know that distance is what they need because they're able to obviously play well against OP close quarters, but OP with the cap and then a quick round win off the back of it. Yeah, that is a fast W into their hands. I think my prediction might be just finishing as this game finishes. So yeah, that can work against OP in some ways because it was such a quick win. You can't necessarily capitalize on the momentum of it, and Proteus can kind of shake off that L and go into their map pick just kind of focused on the job ahead of them. I see the. I just read a comment. Drinking game every time Onward timing is mentioned. Well, you're at least 3 drinks in now. That's. So be careful playing that one. Hey man, it's a thing. It's a thing for a reason, you know. Happens often enough that it deserves to be named in Onward timing. That's what we got. Snow Peak. You're all wondering. I know it. That's why I didn't even. Snow Peak. That's where we're at. Chosen by Proteus. They are going to go on the attack. Meaning OP taking the defensive choice. So far, no subs on OP's side. And we'll see if we get one here on Proteus as we wait for the 5th to connect in. First objective, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for, starts on the inside of the mountain. A relatively close quarters objective. Not even really a lot of opportunities for long-range fights, unless you're battling from end to end in the tunnel. It is a pretty tight objective. Depending on spawn, Proteus, or OP, depending on who's attacking, could be right on top of this objective in moments. And so the defending team needs to be ready for quick pushes or the 4-minute rotation around the lake. I think the more meta approach is the rotation around the lake. See a lot of teams oftentimes split into a 2-1-2, sending 2 through the garage we just went through, 1 up through the middle horseshoe, and 2 around the lake. That setup takes time, so we may see battles in the horseshoe, and eventually the pinch into objective, a fight for north control of the tunnel. And if that's secured by the offense, then the play is on. If it's not, kind of comes down to raw muscle and pushing your way through tight corridors around the objective space that ultimately can be pretty tough to fight in. So, again, I don't know that this will necessarily lean into Proteus' favor, considering how well OP played Cargo. But we are still waiting for a 5th for Proteus, and then we will get into the action. Let me see if we're into a timeout. Don't want to cut to a intermission, as we are just a player away from getting into our map 3 decider for this series today. Has been a good one to tune into, though. Some great plays, great utility use. Teams are earning their round wins in this series, and I think any squad would have a tough time winning the rounds that have been won by both teams respectively here. It's we are into a timeout called by Proteus, and so looking like a tactical one to me, not necessarily technical, although maybe they're doing a bit of charging. But that does mean that we're going to go to at least a brief 5 to 10 minute break. I know that none of you are going to go anywhere, because when we come back, it's going to be the map 3 decider, but intermission is coming right now. welcome back, everybody. We are here for round number 1 of our map 3 decider between Proteus and OP. My name has been and is and always will be NightFiree with 2 E's. Yeah, there's no lag in camera perspective. Sorry for that. As we zip around and finally get an eyeball on this Proteus offense, as they will be attacking first. OP on the defense. Interesting stack here. Could be a heavy horseshoe approach, maybe a 2-2 split up through each tunnel. Got to be careful about pushing this tunnel side. Loreen can defend effectively from anyone that wants to push out. There could very well be C4 placed anywhere on these boxes. So I don't see it. It could be tucked in somewhere. So that's a threat they got to be cautious of, and obviously Rambo and make it great soon enough to be pushing in on
There's no way they brought a drone for this part.
Canadian.
Bro, focus a ground drone. I forgot that was a thing. I don't think they're Europe to the ground drones. No, like that's just an interesting part.
Yeah, it's kind of it is an interesting concept to think about, that how much of a change ground drones would make to the defense. They're currently excluded for several reasons, bugs and no audio, all kinds of weird things that go on with them. OP doesn't seem to need the drone though. They don't need the extra footage. They got the coverage of the lanes, and CJ catches P's, I think, blind fire through smoke. They don't know that they've got a kill because that was smoked out.
Canadian, nice echo, man.
Hey, leave my echo alone, alright?
Flex soon to be pushing Lorraine here. Duplex indicating to pounds of Lorraine's position after hearing the call out. Doesn't want to communicate though and stays silent. If anything, Pounds rotating off could throw Lorraine off of this. Lorraine's actually gonna peek. Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Come on. The teamwork. I love seeing it. Gets me going. Just a kill though. And all it does is even this out 4-4, as OP got one earlier. And Proteus still have the task of making in this entry. As Rambo catches CJ's back. That's going to be a good way to get things going. 4v3 now. Could open up the ability to enter in, push this lane. Vadi still holding Canadian on an off angle, waiting for the push to come in from Pounds and make it great. Vadi shuts down one. There's certain to be more. Canadian, Jesus, not ready. Pounds snaps up for that connection, and Vadi and Oasis alone on objective. Vadi and Oasis both crash back to OBJ, and it's a 2v3. Not an impossible defense to hold here, but a little bit chaotic and a little bit at risk of being pinched if Proteus execute effectively. Oasis flying in, trying to get set up before the smoke dissipates, and they do. Duplex, 18 kill here. Oh, and was prioritizing targeting Pounds. Oasis swings with Suplex's back to them, and the rare error coming in from either one of these teams is interesting to see, but Vadi catches make it great, and Pounds below. Pounds tucks into the tight corner, but it's not enough. Oasis swings. OP clutch it up. Oasis with some big moves to get them the kills, and OP take a defensive round 1-0. TP folks stopping in. We made it just in time. We're on the map 3 decider. Predictions are done. Unfortunately, you missed your chance there. But OP with an early lead and on an objective that Proteus did set up pretty nicely and almost took. I mean, it was down to a 2v3. So the rotation is, I think, ultimately what cost them. It took too long as they sent one around to try and come in from the back, and so I think they just needed to all three stack up and push in, coordinate as a unit. Either way, they did their best, and OP able to just hang on. Oasis utilizing the offensive smoke to push forward and surprises the team. The miss audio cue there where they're suspecting an enemy, but it was a teammate. Cost their life, and so a couple of things happening that end up allowing OP to get that round. But OP getting the quick spawn and the call out coming in. Be careful for the quick rush. They should be careful for it. It could happen. If any team's going to execute on it, it's going to be OP. We're going to go on board Canadian and CJ as they barrel down here into some what could be very early fights. Beats Rambo. CJ doesn't, but manages to cross. Oh, they're re-peeking. Very risky. Canadian gets tagged. Flashes come in. A forward push from Rambo. And Canadian gets team killed on the back end. Because they were tagged once already, they can't get res, and so CJ
one dead, but
puts one down in a 1-for-1 battle. Pounds with a good nade. Taz catches CJ out. A beautiful huck down the hallway. Rotates around for the confirm and is pleased to see that successfully work. Proteus up 4-3. Where's the rest of the team? I don't know what that plan was. Maybe it was for those initial two to run up, catch a kill early, and then kind of play interference. Get the focus and attention of this defense while this OP trio rotates lakeside, but definitely didn't work that way. And
horrendous.
Now these three in the lake are going to be all that OP have.
Maybe 5994.
Oasis, will you wait and watch in case
Yeah. I got flank. Yeah. That's why I came with you guys, to help you out. Teamwork. I got smokes if y'all need it.
Dumbass.
C4 shut down. P's not going to be able to deploy that. Vadi flashes P's, but a great nade. Oh, Vadi's eating their words to P's there. A beautiful deployment. Catches the destruction of the C4. You can defuse it, but the nade will deploy it, and P's tries to get the confirms a little too late.
Got him.
Pretty big kill. That opens up the push in. And this trio has to defend from the trio pushing in. Suplex has a small peek up over the top here. Missed Vadi on the cross. early flash onto Vadi. Not great enough. Vadi finds the peek out. Make it greats alone on defense for Proteus, and OP are set up nicely for the push into the north. Tries to find the shots onto Vadi, can't connect. Vadi still just holding down the angle, and they've got both sides pinched on this block. There's no easy way to work around it. Laureen
I know that
can't
was like
catch, make it great, rotate back.
He's at the boxes.
Fuck me, dude. You're serious. Behind objective.
Yeah.
You need a smoke?
No.
OP having a tough time rooting out. Make it great here. Finally, Vadi connects. Finds the kill, and yeah, Vadi with a little, very confident in their approach there, and ultimately, that confidence pays off, pays in dividends, dare I say, as OP go up 2-0. Almost disastrous, as a big nade C4 detonation could have put them into a 3-1. But ultimately, the frags through the north entry pay off, and it doesn't matter where that duo was or what they did, because the trio made it work. And I think Proteus wanted range with Snowpeak, but they're not getting it, which is dangerous at this stage with how OP have just taken 2. We're now going into another close quarters objective in the kill box. And if OP have been having, Proteus have been having a tough time working against OP in the close quarters, I don't see that necessarily changing. They've been close with OP, but man, it is just it's a competition this afternoon. This game has been a great one to tune into. We are seeing very good plays, very focused plays, counter plays, rotations, knowledge, everything you want out of an Onward series at a high level. And I mean, who better to deliver it than the 2 and 3 teams in the regular season ladder on the NA side? So, what is it, week 6? Yeah, man. VRML formula well at work. Providing us with some dang good matchups to tune into. Down to the action we go for round 3. Or was it a false start? False start. We're still waiting on one on Proteus. I don't think we're into a timeout. Might be, though. Look at the info. Wouldn't be surprised. Could be a good tactical timeout. If they have a sub available, not a bad idea to maybe swap someone in here. Maybe swap out your least effective shooter so far in the series. But something's got to change for Proteus soon here. They got to get themselves back onto their feet. What was a great start on Downfall has since been a bit of a downward slide with a 1-4 on Cargo. That happened in a flash. They really haven't gotten their momentum back. So we'll have to see. It doesn't look like it's a sub out. Pounds is going to be coming back in from my behind the scenes knowledge. So it should just be a technical restart on their end, and then we will be back into it as they do return to lobby. Yeah, round 3 should be starting soon, and again, we're into the kill box, box of death. 4 Horsemen's box, because there's 4 entryways. That's a cool name for it. I just made up right now. But maybe everybody wants to have catch on. I don't know. It's up to you guys. Maybe it's just box. Maybe it's just the box. Not bad either. It's a community thing. You guys can decide. Regardless, we're here. And OP are defending. 4 entry points to deny. And we'll see if OP can push this up 3-0.
Okay,
Woohoo, and that was a fortunate time to disconnect. a false start. As soon as we loaded into the map, one of the OP players disconnected. So, I apologize for that. But the fortunate thing is that you can at least reset the round when that happens. And so, that's what we did. Now wait for the reconnect, and then we'll get into it. Apologies for the delay. I guess now is as good a time as any to shout out our sponsors. VRML is supported and sponsored by ProTube VR. You can see their logo right there on screen. They have been and always will be a fantastic sponsor for the VRML. They have supported us since the start of VRML. They offer really great stocks for any of your controllers on any of the headsets that you play Onward in. These stocks greatly enhance your ability to aim at a long distance and at a short distance. Oh, another disconnect. We're going to have to restart again. They also have haptic feedback mounts, which enhance your immersion in the game. So if you're a big co-op fan or you just want to play some single-player shooters, they have a force feedback mount that adds recoil into the stock. They also have that for the pistol, so you can get recoil in a single pistol shooting system, which I think applies for a lot of games outside of just a standard Onward or Pavlov style shooter. But I do encourage you guys to check them out. ProTube VR has been a great sponsor for us. They have, again, supported VRML since we started, and so we really do appreciate them as a sponsor. VR Cover also coming in and providing prizes to our champions at the end of the season. We really appreciate them as a sponsor. They offer great comfort products that enhance the comfort of any of your VR devices by a substantial margin and really allow you to play in VR for a lot longer, which means more practice time. So I do recommend you check out VR Cover. Get yourself a comfort product of your choosing. They have all kinds of varieties in terms of what kinds of fabrics and cushionings they have, but pretty much everything they put out is good quality, and so I recommend you check out VR Cover if you can. We obviously appreciate the support from DPI that we do get, and VRML chipping in to support the teams that do come out on top. We're going back into the action for round number 3. On map number 3. Our series decider here, and OP looking to push their lead up 3-0.
Hey, be ready for one in here.
Relatively uncontested push until they at least run into CJ.
You're gonna make me get killed.
Lorraine and CJ chatting it up. Lorraine obviously wanting to stay locked in on the angle, but there's going to be some time before the push comes through. CJ's aware of that. They're aware of the timing. An interesting prioritization of the outside defense there. Setting Canadian up for the inside angle. And then the outside defense here. Oasis maybe with a C4 outside. And Vadi on the tight corner. They can swing to defend that doorway and the close doorway. So a position that you would often nade, honestly. But we'll see if Vadi survives. 5 alive for Proteus on the setup is certainly something that OP should be a little bit scared of, because everyone's allowed to get into position. They certainly are a team that we've seen coordinate very well together. Oh, there's the nade. Yeah, there's no lag in spectate cam. You can tell me what that was. The nade was on trajectory to find the kill. Rambo catches a few there. Canadian Jesus catches bees. A big kill that keeps things in control, honestly, for OP. As CJ rotates back, Canadian still holding the angle. And we hopefully don't get a team kill here.
I killed one.
As Loreen does rotate back. Yeah, good comms are prevalent on OP's side. And for now, there's no team kill. I stand corrected. Rambo killed themselves with a bad grenade toss and suplex. Finds themselves alone in a 1v2 to make their way into the objective. .2:15 on the clock, so a lot of time for Suplex to slowly work their way up here. Don't want to make a sound, so they're staying silent, and they can have the time to do it. You don't need to move fast here. They're looking for C4 right now, although it would be a little bit late for that to be prevalent. They're still looking, scanning for any C4 placements. Listening, likely as well. Does pull a nade. That'll give away the position. That nade does smoke Loreen nicely out of position there, and Suplex flies through it. Loreen rotates off of it. The Suplex is in. CJ on the deep angle. Doesn't see Suplex. Suplex tries to find the double, and Loreen catches shots through the box. OP. Hang on to the W. Hang on to the lead and keep Proteus scoreless on our third map. It's gonna be a tall order. Gonna be a tall order for this Proteus squad because OP is looking good. And again, in the scope of things here, OP got to be careful. You know, they've been playing well, but I think Proteus can bounce back here. They haven't had great defenses in the close quarters maps, admittedly, so again, it's going to be hard. But if they're going to start, it's going to be here, because if they can get out of this objective, if they can hold on to this round, then Proteus is going to get their wish on the long range. And we saw in Downfall much more success come in from Proteus on that range. And so it's a big round. If they can lock this in, the comeback isn't out of scope for Proteus here. OP should maybe recognize that and really prioritize making sure they do not allow Proteus any wiggle room.
It's time to get off the table, boys.
But yeah, a tall order for the Proteus squad. And we'll see if OP can lock in a series win off of this round. What kind of rotation are we in for here?
I want the Fortnite Battle Pass.
Any place you want, any restaurant, any, I could fucking Nordstrom, you name it, dude.
Fortnite Battle Pass. Fortnite Battle Pass.
Fortnite Battle Pass.
I want the Fortnite Battle Pass, buddy. I want the Fortnite Spider-Man skin.
Watch for the push down.
87, 8, 17, 6. 87, 8, 17, 6.
They're gonna play a little bit more risky since they're with you out.
Lighthearted convo as OP, CJ Hubs, Irvadi, Loreen, the trio work their way around the lake. They've got 2 more invested up through the middle. That's looking to become a 3. Those 2 likely will push in through the tunnel. We'll have to see. We'll see how it all comes together, but it's all about approaching this objective. Right now, OP has to make sure that Proteus haven't invested in any aggressive defense, which is option number 1, really. You can set someone up right here so you can see Vadi aware of that threat. P's lined up for defending anyone that comes in through that hallway. That's hallway, not a hallway. That opening in the mountain. And an interesting prioritization to the rotation through the inside. Not often you see players opting to push this L. It's tough to win the fights here. And I'm pretty sure you can watch... Maybe they've patched that with the new update. Maybe you can't watch through the cracks anymore. But it's not an easy entry point, and you are super exposed down this hallway. P's, C4's Vadi with a quick res. Tries to follow up with a confirm nade. Look at how smart Vadi and Loreen played that, both backing off the corner, recognizing that that threat would come through. Rambo does peek that open hallway and catches one. They're fending off more as a nade comes in to push them off. I believe they're flashed into the corner. Canadian has to apply the pressure, and they at least win in the trade. Rambo goes down, Suplex coming in to follow up on the defense. The flash comes out, and the defense is getting picked apart. Suplex can't prioritize defending here for long, as shots are ringing out on the inside. Pounds taking shots towards Make It Great. Unfortunately, Loreen silently finds those kills, and Pounds might not be even aware of Loreen's entry into this corner here. OP left with 2, Proteus left with 2. In the chaos. Comes out to Oasis and Loreen. Pounds and Suplex battling for map point. Is inside. I don't think that Pounds is aware of this. It is a very big threat. Suplex also might not be aware of this, but they do have an angle through this hallway, and Oasis tries to take the fight. Suplex survives, doesn't get caught through any bullets there. Pounds relocates a little bit closer. 2 minutes on the clock for OP in this duo to try and make this work. And Loreen is taking a cheeky angle through the undercrack there. Trying to find anything. Both Pounds and Suplex may be aware of this potential danger here and blocking off that vision. Minute 30, Loreen catches a double in OP. a 4-piece as she makes the entry in. OP take map 3, 4-0, and Proteus lets Snow Peak slip away from them. A great series to tune into here Sunday night. Happy to see a hearty crowd enjoying the action here. Would love to see you back for more action later next week as we do get into week number 7. So do be sure to hit that follow button. And again, a quick shout out to our sponsors, ProTube VR, VR Cover, VRML, and DPI. Coming together, we make the VRML what it is. And so we really do appreciate our sponsors' support. We'll be hoping to add new ones on, and if you are interested in sponsoring VRML, you can always submit a ticket, and we will get back to you. We are looking into caster applications, so if you have applied to be a caster, you will be getting reached out to shortly, likely some point next week, and so do keep your eyes peeled. If you do not get accepted, we'll do also our best to notify you in that case as well. So do be keeping an eye out for good news or bad news next week if you want to be on the casting team. Also, a reminder that Ultimex League starts next week. That game is free to play, as is Blast On. Both leagues just starting with brand new seasons, Season 1 and 2 respectively. The finalists of those two leagues will be flown out to Colorado for the VRML Con World Finals, where we will crown a top team and top player from each league respectively. We will also be having an Echo Arena tournament with more details around that coming out next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that announcement. And if you want to get tickets to the convention, you can now over at VRMLCon/LAN tickets. We are doing our best to investigate options around free play space. If we have more details, we will be sure to notify the communities respectively, but at the very least, if you do want to attend, you will see some good quality VR esports action, and you can meet up with me. That'll be it for me here on the desk, though. My name has been NightFiree with 2 East. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying the action. Until next time, stay classy.